Hey everyone, and welcome back to another Digital Gate Studios production. Joined by three of Digital Gate Studios' finest contributors. Gentlemen, how are we doing on this hot day?
Sweaty.
Boiling.
Yeah.
If you can't tell by the state of our webcams, here in the Pacific Northwest, it's about 102 degrees. So we're dying. But gentlemen, how are we?
Doing good. Just had a big weekend of Digimon.
Yes.
2 events for us. We had the core regional on Saturday, and then 3 of us went to the Zulu's in-person regional, which is awesome. Bandai keep doing more. Do we want to start with...
Great success.
Yeah, actually. Do we want to start with the core regional or the Zulu's regional?
Yeah, let's talk about core. I'll get my explanation out of the way because it was short. I played Tyrant Kabuterimon. Green decks, comfort picks for me, of course. I think Tyrant is pretty strong into Nume and Yellow Vax. So I thought I'd give it a shot. Round 1, I beat Purple Machine. The purple base doesn't build up into Chaosdramon. And so EX1 Machine has no protection from bouncing or bottom decking. So go into Tyrant, bottom deck the machine, pop an Analog Man, game over. Round 2, I lost to 7 Great Demon Lords. Deck is quite strong. Lots of kill options, which is the big weakness of Tyrant, because obviously he's immune to Digimon effects when he's turned to the left, but only immune to options if you're into a Shivamon that is also turned to the left.
A lot of resources.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's like everything suspended with a Shivamon.
The interesting thing about the matchup is they can Agudamon and not kill you, because they will play out Agudamon, attempt to delete Tyrant. Tyrant will not be deleted by Agudamon, and then if you have a 17k Tyrant, they can't swing for game because Agudamon is 16. But if they can either Biting Crush or what's the Beelzemon option?
Seventh Lightning.
No.
Rivals Barrage.
No, not Rivals Barrage. Thank you. Okay, I wanted to say Wavering Shots.
I wanted to say Wavering Shots too.
They can just Rivals Barrage your Tyrant and then kill you next turn. So I ended up losing that in a 2-1 clincher. And then round 3, I lost to Blue Magna. Blue Magna, a little bit harder to deal with than the Yellow Magna, because it has an all turns 1k DP egg, and then the 2k your turn Vmon. So getting over that is quite difficult, especially with Alliance from the Black Tamer or FZP 3k buff. So I dropped it round 3. It was hot on Saturday, and I knew I was going to play again on Sunday, so I didn't really want to stick it out. And so that was my tournament. Someone else go.
I played Mastemon this weekend. I'm a really big Mastemon fan. I'm playing it for a long time, so I was really excited with the new support that came out this set. Albeit it's been considered as pretty bad to a lot of other tier list creators and stuff like that. And while it doesn't have any results yet, I'm happy to be really fond of the deck, and I think that it has a lot of reasons for playing the deck, especially if you know how to play the deck and you can keep up in terms of time. I played Hayes' Yellow Bottom variant that he posted on the Huang Zero channel. Shout out to Hayes, shout out to Huang Zero. Awesome creators, go check them out. And I hated it. I hated the...
You're an awesome creator, but I hate your deck.
I tested it before, and I was like, the yellow bottom like relies so much on high roll. And Hayes' thought process is that like you need to high roll to keep up in the format, but I just think that the consistency of the purple base and getting to play like Psychmon and Gazimon, not bad floodgates.
I hear those are good cards.
So we played the Yellow Bottom on Saturday, and we went 4 wins, 4 losses, and a tie. So a very average record, if you will. I got 107th, so we got that one extra event pack
That's all I got,
Dude.
baby.
Pink.
I lost to 3 new Mamons and a blue Magnamon.
We're seeing some of the weaknesses already if you don't beat Numemon or Magnamon in this format.
Yeah. I beat a Setcon. I beat a purple base Machinedramon, which was really funny because I was playing one Angemon just like as like a flex spot that I had an extra room, and I like digivolved it in the back, and he goes, "You're playing Angemon too?" And I was like, "Yeah, I just need like a 9th level 4," and he's like, "Play Machine Pass," and I was like, "Okay, raise Tuck Machine security." Sorry.
It's just
Yeah,
pain to
that's
my
fair.
eyes, dude. It's like the only virus level 6 in the entire format. Why are you playing Angemon, dude?
It's not the only one.
Yeah, it is.
No, Merva.
Yeah,
And
well,
Merva's in this format, I think.
I mean, like, any of the demon lords, almost all of them, if not all of them, are virus.
that's a good.
Then you activate their ability, Jacob.
Oh,
Yeah, but
does
if the egg can't delete, it can't tuck something. They activate
That's
the
true.
ability anyway at the end of your turn.
it's still bad for us for what it's
It's
worth.
bad either way. It's just arguably less bad.
Anyway.
I had 2 buys, 2 opponents who didn't show up. One
Ooh.
round 6, my round 6 opponent didn't show up, and my round 9 opponent didn't show up. So we got some free wins, and then I tied against a 7 Great Demon Lord who I would have won if we like had like 2 more minutes. But it was just like a lot of like, what does that card do? So I know this one on delete tucks something. Oh, this one doesn't tuck, but like on delete grab something from hand. I don't know. We were learning, but we ended up with a very average record. I just when I left the day going, yeah, I'm just not a big fan of the yellow base. I would much rather be playing my Nyaromons.
For those who have seen our latest Mastemon video on the channel, it is the yellow base, and that's because we played the TKs to get more info into security, so it wasn't always blind. And now that you play 6 Mires, there's no room for TKs, so you're basically always promoting Pata and just throwing up a big prayer.
Hope there's an Automon in there.
And when it hits, it's crazy. It's stupid strong.
Yes.
But when I like look through my security and I go, yeah, it's nothing. I'm like, my whole turn is thrown off, and I'm like, yeah, we're.
Your turn is horrible.
Yeah, it's super bad. You're gonna pass by evolving a Gato, and then it dies. So it's like awesome. I don't know.
Yeah, you do get to see the security, which can be helpful.
See a chaos degrade.
You can guarantee your like Angemon BT11. But Justin, how about you? How'd the tournament go?
Had a little bit.
What did you play, Justin?
So I played the full 9 rounds. I didn't get a single buy. I played Skull Mammoth, Purple Toolbox, Abomination. This is a shout out to one of my friends in Canada. His name is Herman. He is my man, and so is everyone else's.
If you've ever played in a Carta Magica regional, he was the head judge, probably.
Yeah, probably. I don't know. He's an amazing judge.
Very good.
Very, like, at some point, he cooks up this deck. It's Skull Mammothmon. And I'm saying Skull Mammothmon like anyone here knows what the hell this card does. So I'll explain it.
It was the level 6 in the purple
starter deck that you threw away because you just grabbed the Melga stuff and then made Melga OTK. Yeah. And then, like, Skull Mammoth is a 25-cent card sitting there. Anyways, Anubis got banned. Obviously, it's a really messed up card.
Restricted. Should have probably been banned.
Should have been banned because every purple deck will play it, probably.
And you can still just play Anubis.
So, yeah, that's true. So we play Skull Mammoth instead as our other level 6 that spawns things from the trash. And it has this added effect, this is all turns effect, where it says if you trash a card, play a level 4 or lower from your trash to the field, and it's all turns. So if you can trash on your opponent's turn, you could also play stuff from Skull Mammoth again. And it's this weird thing where in Nats, if you played against an Anubis player and their Anubis lived, your game was toast. There's 8 bodies going to come at you. You were going to get drowned under ruin mode, and it wouldn't matter, and they would start their turn at 10. And that was kind of the philosophy with Skull Mammoth. I'm like, okay, well, I played like the Anubis Gizmon loop thing, kind of worked in a similar way, but it played 8 rookies because the Gizmons don't really count. So instead of Anubis, we played Skull Mammoth. And I went 6-3 on the day. I had the opportunity to get my Nats invite. Haven't played in too many regionals. I think I've only played in 2 after Seattle. I lost my last round to a 7 Great Demon Lords because I super don't know the matchup, and I kind of choked the end. I was in a winning position, and I didn't play Psychmon. Really bad.
Whoops.
But overall, I got 35th. If I won my last one, I would have gotten 17th. But Kiki from Canada, who's the all first one trick, already got his invite, so it would have trickled down and blah, 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 blah. That's just me being sad about not knowing how cards work.
So,
And this is if you, yeah,
I'm all for the deck choice, but why?
I will answer that question for you, Justin.
Sure, go crazy.
The Goblymon, Ignite-mon, Ogremon, Dober X, Blue Mara core is the strongest engine in Digimon, period. I say that even compared to 8 Ukomon. I'm not kidding. It is insane. The only thing that it's missing is a Mega that doesn't suck. Because it had the best Mega in the history of Digimon, which is Anubismon. Skull Mammothmon does the 2 things that Anubismon does, but just way worse. Anubismon pitches 3 cards, up to 3 cards, which activates Ogre and Gobbly Inherit, and then it plays up to 3 Digimon with Mervamon, which activates Ignite and Dober X Inherit.
And Blumera.
And Blumera.
So it's really memory efficient.
Skull Mammothmon, draw 1, trash 1, activates Ogre Gobbly, and then plays a level 4, activates Ignite, Dober X, Blumera.
Which is, yeah.
So the memory efficiency of the deck is remarkable. Yeah.
Yeah, that's all we can say.
Okay.
So the games that I won were the games where I saw Anubis, and the games where I had to struggle to win, I saw Skull Mammoth. So it's definitely the nice thing that Skull Mammoth does do, I will say, about versus like Anubis, it does the same thing just as well, is Anubis gets progressively worse the longer it's on the board. Because those 3 inherits that we're talking about, the 3, 4, 5, as long as they're on the board, your next few turns are really messed up. Mostly because, let's say they put you to 1, you have an Ogremon that you summon from the Skull Mammoth, and you have 3 inherits that say gain a memory. Okay, cool. You raise a rookie, or you Evo on top of the Ogremon into Blue Mara, draw 2, trash 2. You gain a memory back from the Ogre, you gain 3 memory back from the inherits of the Skull Mammoth, you play out another Digimon, it's probably Psychmon, and then you put a Runemon on top of Skull Mammoth, okay? And then you have a rookie and raising, and you raise, and now you're at 5 Digimon. You can't kill them yet. That's okay. You turn the Blue Mara into another Skull Mammothmon or anything else that you need, and then summon more things. Use all the inherits of the Rune mode now, and then you're at 10 memory. There's a game. It was round 8 against Fenrir, and I had a 12 wide board. So it's like when it works, it's awesome. And that was kind of the thing that I was thinking about this deck is Nume and Magnemon. They can remove stuff, but if you get there fast enough, Nume can't minus 12k to Skull Mammoth. It can kill the level 4, but it can't kill Skull Mammoth. Magna, probably have to Heaven's Judgment it, probably have to do like Rapid X, suspend it.
Or just
and
have all the Magnas in security that de-digivolve.
That too, pretty bad. But the idea was that engine is so consistent, and it's not like the other 3-4 bases that give you memory back, like something like Jesmon maybe. Because Blue Mara has the added benefit of drawing 2 cards, trashing 2 cards, and you play the BT6 Sunamon egg, and that draws another card. So even though there's cores that do the same thing, it doesn't draw as much, and it doesn't set you up as much as into the future turns. That's kind of why I brought it. And then we went to the Seattle Regional, and this is the problem with bringing rogue decks. I'll talk about mine first since we're on Skull Mammoth. The matchups of Skull Mammoth, it is like very tiny. I think favored into Nume, just like 2%, maybe 3%.
We played against Numemon a lot.
Yeah, and it's like just barely ekes it out. So it's like, okay, it's good in a Numemon.
Plays two Emperor, Digimon Emperor,
2 Emperors, and then if you see the Emperors against Yellowvax, you're having a really good day because Patamon is terrible when Digimon Emperor is out. So it flips into the two best decks in the format. It super loses to Imperial, go figure. And I was like, awesome, I'm gonna bring a rogue deck. I'm gonna feel good about it. So I went to Seattle. Round 1 is a Nume. I lose the flip. Round 2 is a rogue deck that destroys mine. It's Dark Masters Megazoo. Really, really, really hard. Super unwinnable. Zort defeat says if this dies, kill your Leviamon that you used to answer back the board. That was the other backbone of the engine, is whenever we couldn't go into Skull Mammoth, we would fight back for the board with Levia, and then maybe you can make a comeback from there.
Yeah.
But Dark Masters Megazoo completely destroys it. And the rest of the tournament is inconsequential. I went 3-3. And speaking of inconsequential, Jacob, how did your tournament experience in Seattle go?
We also went 3-3.
Ooh.
We swapped to the purple base, which felt astoundingly better. We started off really well. We
Okay,
played
I'm sorry. Before we go into that, we were in the car driving from beautiful Vancouver, Washington, to also beautiful Seattle, Washington.
we have a
And we were changing.
we have a 2.5 hour drive.
We were like, okay, so how do we play another rookie? Can we fit in Maycrack? We were just like,
Can we get
wheeling
Emperor in
and dealing.
there?
Yeah,
And then Jacob keeps handing me his phone. Is like, Justin, what would you change? Is this good? I'm like,
I'm
you should
driving.
know this deck more than me, Jacob. But I'm down to hell.
I just worked the night before, and everyone was like, "Oh, okay, we'll get in the car. We have like a 2.5 hour drive. You can just sleep the whole way up." And then I got in the car, and I brought a ton of cards with me, and I was like, "All right, I want to change up this deck list before I submit it." And then it was like 20 minutes until we were there. I was like, "Never mind, we're not sleeping." But we made a bunch of changes to the bottom end. We made a bunch of changes of like adding extra stuff to make Numemon feel a little better, because the Numemon games I lost were all on Saturday were all O2s, and that was tough. So we beat a Wargrave round 1. We lost.
Can you tell that story? It is so funny. If the person that played Wargrave is watching, I'm so sorry.
Shout out to the guy who played Wargrave. I'm like he flipped over the Evo Cup Koromon from year 1, and I was like, oh, okay, we're gaming. We're playing max rarity. We're playing max rarity Wargreymon. I'm so excited. And game 1, exactly. Game 1, it's a little slow. I end up like locking him out with Ruin Mode and like keeping him like I answer his board state. Ruin Mode to lock him out of raising and then kill him on like the next turn. And he's like, damn, I didn't think you'd have Ruin Mode in hand. I was gonna build up a whole stack. I was like, that's why we did it. And then game 2, I'm like chugging away at the board, and he's building up just like the god stack in the back. I mean, we've got 2 rookies, 2 level 4s, 3 level 5s. So he raises this just like monster stack, and he's like, and he like swings X anybody Digivolves into Wargrey X, and it's at 1 on my side, and he's like, all right, we're gonna do 4 checks at like 20k, no options. I'm gonna gate a memory for every card that gets removed from security, and end of attack I'm gonna pop something, and they just, it's the god line. And I'm like, counter timing, blast Digivolve with Mastemon Ace, return the Wargreymon to security. and he goes, and I can't protect it. And I go, no. And then because Master Ace plays out a body, I'm able to swing for lethal the next turn because I stole the turn because it was at 1 on my side. And I just like, and he's like, dude, what do I do against that? And I was like, I don't know.
Pray that he didn't have it. That's what you do.
I've played some of the really good like toxic decks over the years. And like I've had some like crushing wins, the Chaos Degata security that just like throws it away in their favor, or the Ice Wall to steal the turns or they lose. I've never had an opponent just see like the crushed in his eyes of just like, dude, my whole stack gone.
Oh no!
Can I protect it?
No.
It goes away.
But don't worry, karma gets us back because we all.
Don't
you
worry.
also win.
Next round, I play against Blue Magna, and I'm like, okay. Yellow Vaccine, I feel super confident into. They don't have as many answers for my board state. I can use Blast Ace. I have Truby Ace. I feel super confident. Blue Magna is a bit tougher. We get a game 1. He has a really slow start game 1. We end up just rushing him down. Game 2. He hits Magna X, so we've got protection. Chunks out a bunch of, he gets up to Magna X. Goes Zubagon Punch, 4 checks.
FZP.
And then I'm like,
scary.
That's tough. We end up losing it. I'm like, we'll go to game 3. I'll try to set up a board that's stronger to be able to defend against it. Game 3, we Zubagon, so I throw my security. I'm like, wow, this is really tough.
Yeah.
But
Yes,
I'm
it's
like,
not doing
I'm
anything
gonna be
here.
able to recover. I need 3 turns of being able to raise a body, build up a second body, raise, and I'll be able to stop him from killing me and kill him. And then he went into GX, tucked starter deck Magnamon to to strip sources and bounce my ace target, and I was like, that's really bad. I'm at 0 security. I have to I'm just playing out boards, and yet luckily he has no hatchery, but I'm having to play out guys to stop stuff from coming forward, and we just tiptoe around back and forth until he eventually is able to go Heaven's Judgment, gain back the 4 memory from popping the Master Ace, swing for game. And I was like, tough. So we lost to Blue Magna. We win the next 2. So we're 3-1. We feel really fine. We're 1 loss. We can win out, still get top 4 maybe. And then we played a Diaboromon. So the fun fact, surprisingly, Diaboromon is one of Mastemon's worst matchups. It's horrible. They're level 6 tokens. You don't have a lot of easy answers for. And if they're able to assemble Diaboromon Ace, EX6 Diaboromon, and an Infernmon underneath either of them that de-digivolves, they lock you out of the game. You
So
can't.
I'm gonna explain this because I have looked into this deck recently because it's one of Numemon's biggest counters, believe it or not. So here's the line: we have Infernmon in the raising, or basically enough memory to make new Diaboromon and it still be Diaboromon player's turn. Whether that's erratas to make enough tokens to gain memory off of the inherits, whatever the case. Make new Diaboromon our turn. Play out EX6 Infernmon, which says delete a Diaboromon to evolve into Diaboromon. So you eat one of your tokens to go into Ace. It's their turn at 6, probably. But if they play a Digimon, trigger new Diaboromon to play a token, trigger Ace Diaboromon to delete something that costs 11 minimum.
Just
And the
kind of
Infernmon, whenever we play a token, once per turn, we get to de-digivolve one of my Digimon.
1.
So there
never
gets to
really
a point.
sticking an 11 play
I
cost.
can't play Digimon. I can't play Digimon by an effect. I also just can't hard play any Digimon, and that's kind of Mastey's whole goal is to get to a mid late. If I get to mid game and I have my Mirai set up, I have an engine that is able to, from a board of nothing, go into Mastemon while still keeping turn, swing for 2 checks, and answer anything on the board. Where this becomes a problem is that I now have my engine taken away from me to be able to do that super grindy late game, and if I spend a turn just digivolving in the back and passing, then they're like, oh sweet, I'll just swing with my 6 tokens and swing for game.
Yeah. It's pretty brutal.
I've talked to the Master Discord, I've talked to Hayes. Everyone just says see ruin mode. If do not see ruin mode, lose, and fair enough. So Diaboromon gets it, and then I lost to a Mirage in the last round and was like, well, oh well, I guess. But I had a lot of fun, and I will stand by. I do think that the purple base is better than the yellow base.
True. I'll be
Up to
brief.
Basil?
I was in our 3 Musketeer carpool. I was our third 3-3 competitor on the day. Round 1, I beat Commandramon. I was horrified to see what's the Commandramon egg?
Misomon.
Missymon. I flipped Missymon, and I was like, wow, I'm going to lose round 1. D-Brigade is Tyrant's worst matchup, bar none. Can't you? When you try to out-Brigade Dramon, delete a D-Brigade, keep him there, so you can't bottom deck it, you can't swing over it, you can't do anything to it, and then on deletion, Commandramon, flip 3, blah, 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 play whatever, you just float up. The board is unbreakable once they're into Brigade. The only way you can lose is if you promote a Brigade and play one thing. So you make Tyrant out the one thing, no protection for Brigade, and kill it. So I won 2-1 in a goddamn miracle. The player there was one turn where they promoted a level 5, the
Cargo
Dramon, and then played out a setter. So they had no 2 Digimon, so no protection. I swung with a 10k Blade Kuwagamon over it, and was like, if you have Mega Ace, Mega Gargo Ace, I just lose. They didn't have it, and so I ended up winning that.
It's funny because on the car ride up, we're like, what do we not want to see?
I literally said the only thing I don't want to see is
Commandramon.
Commandramon.
And then I laughed at him because I was like, who the hell is playing Commandramon at the tournament?
And it was we found out that was the one Commandramon player at the whole tournament, which
so
was
we just talked.
They heard you talking.
I think.
Round 2, I lost to Demon Lords. One day they'll print a purple deck that is weak. I don't know when that will be. Round 3, I lost to Leviamon. Same thing. I don't know how Leviamon players lose. Round 4, I beat someone in the Tyrant Kabuterimon mirror, one of the least skill intensive matchups in the entire game. If any of you played Black War Greymon mirrors in BT11, it's the same thing. The person who promotes first loses. Game 3, he promoted first and lost. Round 5, I avenged my brothers and beat the Diaboromon Menace.
I also lost to Diaboromon.
I don't know why these guys are having such hard times dealing with these Diaboromons. Why don't you just swing over it with your 18k bug that's immune to Digimon effects? Duh.
I do that.
That's what I would do. So that was round 5, and then round 6, I lost to Blue Magna in a super close game 3. 3-3 on the day. Probably won't play Tyrant ever again.
Shelf.
That's not true. I will play Tyrant again when we get the Mega Kabuterimon promo.
And then I couldn't make it that day because they didn't want to draw my name in the raffle. So
there was only 59 people entered. You should have come anyway.
No, I was gonna go with you guys, but I had some family things come up like the day of. I was like, all right.
We changed the canon event because there was 59 people. We all went 3-3, but if there was 60, we all top. So that couldn't happen.
That's true.
As somebody who didn't play in any of these tournaments and are watching the results, what do you think about this format? It's BT16 or EX6. We're about a week into it. 2 weeks now, I guess. About something like that. Yeah, 2 weeks, whatever. What do you think about the decks? What do you think about the decks being represented? As somebody who hasn't played any of the decks yet or in tournament. This is to you, Jacob.
You asking me?
Yeah.
I mean, I think New Amon's clearly still a menace. And the problem with Bandai has a couple card games, right? And this is kind of the takeaway I'm getting from this is in Digimon, unless your opponent heals, you just need to punch them 6 times. Like that's how you win the game. Punch 6 times, win game. There are ways to make that more or less, but that's kind of the whole core of the game. But in things like One Piece and Dragon Ball, there's like a minimum power requirement to hit your opponent, right? Because you have to hit their leader who's a 5k, so you have to be at least a 5k.
Right.
But so I'm not saying Digimon should have anything like that, but I don't know if Bandai's realized that if I just have 6-1Ks, I'm threatening lethal. You know?
The difference between 6 to 12K.
Ukomons, damn it.
Yeah. If I just push out an Ukomon every turn, I might just win.
True.
And those
Yeah.
games
And you know
do
what's
happen.
crazy is that does in fact happen.
That does, yeah.
So
Yeah, we forgot to mention about Seattle. In the top 8, there were 5 new Mamons.
yeah. One of them was our good buddy.
I will say though, big shout out, one of my best friends, ex co-host from my old YouTube channel.
Oh, Lord.
The Poncho Boys.
What he is known by, Eggman always pronounces his name super funny, but it is Anukone Pondanuvong, or as everyone else knows, Carson. Took it on Nuemon. Him and Taylor, who is another one of our buddies from down in Eugene, worked on the list really well.
We've mentioned Mox Valley Games before.
Yes. This is part of the Mox crew. Taylor actually got top 32 with that Nuemon list the day before in the core TCG online regional. They were playing some, spicy stuff like Rapidmon X Antibody, which was really cool. Getting to watch games after I'd finished mine, getting to watch games and their opponents be like when they did you hop into Rapid X,
Yeah.
and then when they'd Valgase and steal the turn because Rapid X would gain the memory, and they'd be like, "Oh, that's interesting."
That's
So big shout outs to Carson. Took it down in 6.
6-0. Shout outs.
Yeah.
I had a nice conversation with him beforehand, and we joke about performing in tournaments and all that. And he describes himself as he's like a pump and dump scheme where he would go 4-0 or 5-0 and then lose 4 straight.
Yeah.
And, at this point,
He's done this
That's
at
me when I
many
do big
regionals.
events.
many regionals. So I called him a penny stock for the day, and
Yeah.
penny stocks either boom and you're a billionaire, or you go straight down to the 0-3 land with me, Jacob, and Basil. And at round 5, he wins, and he walks up to me, he's like, I don't know how I got
I'm
here.
gonna do it.
And,
He said,
knows-
"I'm playing amazing."
and I'm like,
Oh,
that is a penny stock.
I guess he turned
no.
his card sideways 6 times.
He did turn his card
he smurfed
sideways.
it. Shout
But, he
out.
smurfed it. But yeah, congrats to Carson for taking it in Seattle. But yeah,
And
that's
Jacob and I, Jacob, the faraway Jacob, if you're looking, we
It's
will
different oriented for each of us.
this is
the
mine.
Jacob that's raising their right hand right now. We'll see you in Vancouver, British Columbia, tomorrow.
For the run back.
We'll be there, yeah. And then you all will see me, Riverside, California, the weekend after.
Yeah, I'm in that. I still just got to figure out my travel.
Dude,
Can we tap in?
can we buy a plane ticket?
I'm working on it.
Alaska Airlines, buddy.
I'm working on
Get
it.
in there.
But I'll probably be there as well.
Yeah, Jacob will be there. I've got an Airbnb. We'll figure it out. Someone will give us a ride. Shout outs in the comments if you want to pick me up from LAX on Friday night.
That's not gonna.
be-
I
that'd be
don't know if I
amazing.
trust that.
I'm getting kidnapped. I don't know.
DM him
I
on
wanna go
Discord.
guns blazing.
Lord is gone. See you later.
That's the podcast episode next week. Is Basil in the
He's
trunk of a
like-
car, and he's
He's
had an
Basil
amazing-
comes back for the pod. He's just got a black eye, and he's like,
amazing.
"Now,
run
if
in
you happen to
Riverside."
find any
I
Max
won.
Rarity Bloom Lord, it's stolen."
This is what happens when you play Numemon once.
One time. Just get in the car.
So, gentlemen, now that we've talked about this wonderful, wonderful, wonderful format, we do have some questions, and I need to especially apologize to Blake, the Muffin Man, because you
You
asked a
skipped him last
question.
week.
We just didn't answer it, and he said, "I was really excited when you got to the Q&A portion, and you just didn't answer my question." So
it was
sorry.
funny because when you started reading too, I was like, I thought there was another one, but maybe I was wrong.
Yeah.
So I'm sorry too.
So, a long one from Blake the Muffin Man. Hey crew, I have some questions that I hope haven't been asked. Number 1, as we get closer to BT20, the community for the TCG side of the game gets more excited about having a global release for our card game. However, my concern is, do you think the player base for TCG is ready to have a ground zero set where players can find exploitable card combos, one top deck meta, and power creep. While before we had the luxury of seeing how the meta was defined in OCG. I don't know what that means.
Original card game. That's
Original
how
card game.
That's how they denote card games that are ahead of ours, or in Japan, the original.
So
game.
when we got it, the ban list would quickly follow to help keep our meta balanced. Yeah, that's been happening a lot recently. So to simplify the question, do you think the TCG community is ready to have potential unbalanced sets in the future? Hashtag growing pain. Blake, I'll answer your question very simply. We are currently in an unbalanced set, and we have been in one for 3 formats in a row.
And it doesn't
Or-
get better.
Guys, what do you think?
To answer the question, yes, I think global release is going to be good because there's a lot of cool cards that we never got to use, but yes, there is a lot of unbalanced. I think what really needs to happen is Bandai needs to improve their R&D a little bit, but I think global release is good.
Yeah, I'm excited for global release when it gets there. I think it's a little frustrating to have it's like there's an innovators meta and then there's the honer meta where you pick the deck that you already know is amazing and you take what Japan gave you and then tweak it to the best of your abilities. Japan found Edamon Valkyries, they found the Ukumons and the Numes. Well, they got it first, right? So
No, NA figured out Edamon.
oh, did they?
Yeah, they
Well,
were playing it in Japan.
Oh, okay, perfect. Well, that's another thing. Is like that's the honer part of the game. Is we got Numemon. How do we make it better? Okay, so NA put in Valkyriemon and Numemon in their decks, and it's amazing. It's very frustrating, but in terms of an innovator's standpoint, it's very hard to be a player that is very good at the game and consciously decide I'm going to try my best to figure out what the secret rogue pick is that's going to beat every deck. Just doesn't
When they
really
already
happen
Figured it out.
because they already figured it out. They have 3 or 6 months before you. They had a ton more games, and that's the result of that.
Yeah, that's
So when we do get a unified release, it'll be great for the innovators, and it'll be a little bit worse for the honers. But metas get figured out pretty fast. So
I
we'll see.
agree with you on that too, because like I like making decks, and like
Mhm.
I hate go online, see what topped 2 sets in advance. Just like, all right,
Yeah.
let's copy that, because people are doing that, and it's fine. But
It's totally
That's what we do.
Yeah, but it'll be a different thing, and it'll be a little bit more skill expressive for the person that finds the most abusable or innovative combo that takes the meta by surprise. So
yeah,
we'll see what happens.
That's how Huang Zero won with Nume. He was the only one playing Edamon Valk.
There you go. So excited for that. but
Anything to add on,
we'll
Jacob?
see.
I agree. I am a brewer. I love like testing new decks. I love testing out stuff that people haven't played around with. And a lot of the other card games that I play, you get to do that. In Flesh and Blood, we get to like I can't tell you how many games in like the weeks leading up to set release I've spent online on Talishar, which is our online client, being like, okay, maybe we try this old card, see if it works in the deck. Maybe we try this new card. Maybe it's not as good as people think it is. Digimon, we're gonna get to do that, and that's really cool. I like the idea of like deck builders and people who like will sit down and actually play test getting benefited from that as well. And like Justin said, our formats have been a lot of going into it. Hey, this is the best deck. You should play it. For example, this last year's Nats format, like before EX5 dropped, which was like a week before Nats. Was
Yeah.
it 2 weeks?
it
was
was like
one
the
week.
weekend before or something.
Before the set had dropped, we had all play tested online for months ahead, and everyone very clearly knew that Anubis Mom was the best deck in the format, and it was the deck you should probably play. Compare that to Japan's Nats that year, where people assumed Apocalypse and Mirage Gaugamon were going to be top dogs, and lo and behold, this evil slug that we still hate to this day managed to take it out as a surprise deck. We're gonna get to see a lot more stuff like that, which is really cool. Another thing that's like kind of funny too is the way that like the Digimon market works right now. We'll get a set spoiled 6 months in advance. We'll see a spike in cards for a little bit when people go, hey, we'll pick up these cards 6 months in advance. Over the next like 3 to 4 months, they'll spike back down, and there'll be a small month window for you to pick up cards before set actually releases and they spike up again.
True.
So the people who understand this are able to abuse it a lot more. The people who don't understand this are stuck paying $5 a piece for their commons that they could have paid 10 cents for. Like,
True.
Stonks.
so hopefully the idea is that like maybe we'll get to stonk more, or maybe that will be a thing of the past and it'll be more on like promoting the competitive side of the card game. Regardless, I'm really excited for global release. I think it's gonna be a lot of fun, and maybe we won't get so many sets back to back in a row, and it'll be
They're
They're
nicer
just
on the wallet.
accelerating us right now.
True.
Yeah.
All right, we'll jump into the second question here from Blake the Muffin Man. As someone who loves black decks, I see that you guys mentioned that black is in a weird spot. So I'm curious to ask, what do you define as a good deck? What does it need? Does it need to be meta relevant to be considered good, or more functional to play? Example of this is D Brigade is a solid deck, but gets walled by what's meta. It can hold its own if it doesn't get walled by Yellow Vax or rushed down by Numemon. And then he lists a bunch of black decks. So this is a problem that Justin and I have specifically. We are very hyperbolic regarding trading card games. What that means is, let's say a deck has a 46% win rate. That deck is unplayable.
Horrible. I wouldn't
It's
even
horrible.
consider playing it.
We wouldn't even consider playing it. And so, obviously, that is weird to hear some of you. To some of you are like, well, 46%. It's like barely under 50. It's just over the aggregate of a tournament, a 9-round tournament. Let's say you play 3 rounds every tournament, every game. A 54% win rate will mean that you will get completely screwed, or a 46% win rate, which means you have no chance of topping that tournament.
It's horrible. I talk a lot about cards having like impact and like, is this gonna raise my win rate by like 0.2%, 0.5%? What are the odds of hitting this card with this searcher? Should we playing something else?
Yeah.
And then if those like raise, like even just a little bit raise those percentages, you make those considerations because aggregate it's 27 rounds, right? And let's say you are at a 46% of it. It's hard to string back-to-back wins, and you need back-to-back wins to win rounds or to win games. So when we say bad, I mean it in that sense. Is Command a bad deck? I think it's perfectly functional. It has some good matchups. It has some really bad matchups into the meta decks, and that's kind of black as a color.
Every deck that you've listed here, I'll just list them very quickly. Black War Greymon, D Brigade, D Police, Justimon, Machinedramon, Alphamon, Dex, Diaboro, Omnimon, Alter S. Those decks all would have a sub 50% win rate into Yellow Vax and Numemon.
Mm-hmm.
So for me, there is no reason to even consider playing them at a tournament.
Yeah, and that's kind of we're boiling it down to win rate of what makes good decks, but what actually makes good decks is their game plan really good. How does it win the game, and how good is it? How consistently do you get into that position against a wide variety of decks? We can talk about Nume. It has a very consistent search, so the deck is consistent. Perfect, right? It raises its win rate by a little bit. It is really, really sticky. It has cards that float into itself, so you can evolve on top of it and float into itself again if you need to. And it has a boss monster that you can not only cheat out by dying, by doing the function that's designed to win you the game, by swinging at their security and dying, you play out a level 6 for free. You get 2 memory. That level 6 also floats into a level 5 for free that gains 2 memory. And that whole description of that strategy is better than every single black deck you've listed, which is wild. So that's why Nume is very strong. It's very memory efficient. It has a really good game plan. It's very oppressive. And it's very fast, so if your opponent can't answer some parts of the board, you will die. And then we can talk about the slower side of Yellow Vax and the Magnamon strategy in general. That deck is really frustrating because it says, don't interact with me. A lot of decks say, I want to kill your Digimon, I want to delete your Digimon, I want to bounce your Digimon.
Especially black.
Especially black. Uh-oh, here's another problem about black. So when a card says "Don't interact with me," that's fine. There's cards that say that give protection. That's "Don't touch me." Magnamon can reapply that protection to itself again, and do it slowly or fast with Final Zubagon Punch and kill you eventually. That's very strong, and it does it consistently. So good game plans, do it consistently, and then make it so that other decks have a hard time beating you. I mean, this is a very, very boiled down version. I can keep talking, and maybe somebody else wants to chime in about what makes a deck good. But yeah, it's a hard question, but
I mean,
man,
you
these
kind
top
of
two
hit it
decks.
on the head, right? It's like you know what's going to be there because we've seen this meta 2 months out in Japan. You know what people are going to play, and if you can't beat them I mean, even if you can beat them half the time, is that really enough?
Yeah, I mean, I played a deck that flips into both the best decks, and it was good enough to get 6-3, but it wasn't good enough to win a regional.
Yeah.
And that's the nature of playing a rogue deck. So,
So that answers the second half of the question of what we define as a good deck. When we said black was weird, I think we meant in terms of identity. I do want to just throw that out because it sounded kind of like a two-part question. Black doesn't really have an identity. All those decks you've listed kind of do different things.
It's true.
That's the weird part about it. But yes,
I think there's 2 points I want to touch on real quick. That is also the thought process behind bringing a rogue deck to an event is like the idea of bringing a rogue deck is you are relying on player skill level for a good portion of it and saying like, hey, I know this deck really well. It's a deck I can play without like the hindrance of like having to like think through a lot of my turns because I naturally know what they're doing. And a big part about rogue decks is that you are assuming that there are decks in the format that do not know how to interact with you, or players have not seen your deck enough to be able to have an idea of how to like comfortably deal with your board state without diverging from their game plan too much.
Yeah.
Like a big example of this is like Justin's Purple Mammoth deck. I assure you, if there are players in that room who have not played against Anubismon enough, they are not going to have a very straightforward idea of how to play into Purple Mammoth. They're going to think, wow, we're a purple deck, so maybe I want to like go faster than them. Maybe I want to try and like control the board more. And Justin's list is going to say, you're not going to do either of those things. So with rogue decks, there's this idea of like a lot of decks are going to have to stray from their game plan and divert from what they know and they're comfortable with to be able to answer me. And the hope is that if I am taking them off of their original game plan, now the skill expression part of the game shows, and I am able to eke out more value turn after turn because I am staying on my game plan, and they are having to go rogue to try and deal with my rogue deck. And that's why you like players like Justin are able to take Purple Mammoth to an event and do really well with it. Another
also where they're like, "What is that card?" Like it's from the starter deck.
Oh, like when Basil got his ultimate cup with Dire Bitmon.
What he has blocker.
What gives it blocker?
Oh,
says it on the card.
I'll turn my card to the right.
A big favorite of mine in my Master list. I've been playing Xiaomon as my fifth egg for like 12 sets, and I cannot tell you how many times like a Mirage Galgamon will sit there suspended, or a like just like some like they like answered my board state. They're like, all right, there's no way he can come back from this, and then I'll like raise, I'll clash Gazimon into your Mega, and they're like, why? And I'm like, I have retaliation for my egg, and they're like, 10 or more in trash. Fair enough. Guess I lose my Mega to a rookie that I didn't expect.
Whenever you get someone like this, you've won the game.
It's a good
huge. And the other aspect of this is a topic that I really like talking about is color theory for this game. Like Jacob touched on it earlier, this game is very simplistic in the idea of most decks want to swing 6 times to win the game, swing 5 times for all of their security, swing 6 to win the game. There is the variance level of what can be in security. Can my Digimon die? Now I need to have another Digimon that can swing. Can an option prevent me from swinging? now we have to ask for a different game plan. And almost all of the decks have a color identifiable aspect that allows them to win or not lose. The two biggest ones that derive from this pathway is yellow adds cards to security. Historically, most yellow decks are able to recover. This changes up the color theory because now instead of swinging 6 times, I have to swing 7 or 8. And like if you're a deck like Melga, who can swing 6 times as like its best, all of a sudden if I need a 7th swing out of nowhere, it's like
A lot harder.
I can't really
Completely
beat that
different.
out. So yellow being able to add cards to security breaks the color pattern, as well as red is the other color who is able to do that with security tack plus modifiers. Now, because I have security tack plus 1, instead of having to swing 6 times to win, I only have to swing 4 times, or 3.
3 or 4, the math.
Sometimes
So,
two.
like,
Sometimes
so,
2.
Red and yellow are the colors that are able to completely like change the aspect of how to win or how to not lose the game or to win the game. And every color has their way of playing through the game in terms of identifiable ways. Yellow has DP minus, which has historically been their main way of removal. Green has wanted to tap
Swing
stuff
over things.
and then swing over it with piercing. Blue
Lost
Basil
some
shaking his
identity.
head.
blue has wanted to bounce stuff and then gain extra memory, but I think purple is the one that gains extra memory more than blue. But blue historically
It
has
is
wanted
now.
to bounce stuff and then unsuspend and swing again a lot
With
of times.
jamming.
Purple, jamming is a big one. Purple likes to play with the trash and they like to gain
It's
memory
give
and
me
draw
those 6
cards for
bodies.
free.
Yeah. Let me go 12 wide. Fender
and-
Lulumons.
Black has blocker, and they have D-Digivolve.
Reboot.
10 sets ago,
reboot.
that was pretty good.
Reboot.
D-Digivolve is their main way of removal, but if a
not even
Digimon has no
removal.
sources, D-Digivolve doesn't do anything. And then Black's historically has been like, I am going to not lose by having blocker, but over the course of the game, there hasn't been a lot of ways for Black to be able to actually like accelerate the gameplay to actually win. A lot of times, like Machine Dramon was a deck that could punish the block by like, oh, whenever I kill something, I get to trash security. And that was really big because before it was like, hey, I'm going to swing for 1 check, I'm going to reboot, and then I'm going to block your thing. And we're going to play that game plan. So for me, that's the biggest idea of why Black suffers right now, is Black doesn't have a set color way of winning the game or not losing the game besides blocker, and almost every other deck has blocker.
Yeah.
True.
And you know what's crazy is even White has it. White is the stupid egg deck, or like they use a weird gimmick egg. They have an alternative win condition. A lot of them are OTK. So historically, D Reaper is the first one. Get Mother with 7 sources, play Reaper, and
Maria's
swing
one.
Win.
15 times. Boom, 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 boom. And then we got Royal Knights. Royal Knights clear the board, reduce the play costs with Drazzle, and then blow up your Drazzle. Omnimon comes in, goes super wide, and then kills you in a single turn. Okay, cool. To be honest, the Demon Lord's deck is more of a white deck in my head than a purple deck.
What?
I mean,
The egg is purple, Justin.
the egg is white.
It's
Let's
purple.
be honest.
It's a purple.
No,
egg.
it's so. Yeah, that is
But,
L take.
anyway, but you know, white even has an identity there where they have like some alternative win condition. I'd even consider Eosmon an alternative win condition, just spawn copies of itself. But
Shout out to Eosmon.
you know, does
One day.
Deoboromon count as white more than black? I feel
Nope.
like it does.
Not anymore.
Not anymore.
It used to be all white, but they've moved to having like black megas now, which is really
Yeah.
good.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's just like at least my idea of it is that like black just struggles to have a identity
identity.
still.
What does black do? It blocks things.
It's best.
XD it does try its best.
Black tries really hard.
Well,
Next question.
I think that was you guys. We've got some more, but I like that was our one question for the day. How much time? Where are we at?
No, we're we put in some time.
Yeah, let's just we'll get to the rest of these questions on next week's We've got some local guys asking questions, which is cool. Gentlemen, why y'all got cards of the week?
I do. Do we want four of them?
I've got one if y'all want me to lead off.
Go crazy. I have
Take it
one
away.
ready.
Because one thing we forgot to mention about the core TCG regional, just outside of top 32, someone was playing Ragnarlordmon. And not only that, they were playing it the way that God intended. 50 Digimon. They weren't even playing the option. And so I've been playing Ragnarlordmon since EX6 came out. I'm loving it. Love the new cards. I'm going to take some inspiration from their list, but an easy Ragnarlordmon Ace for my card of the week. This card is amazing. I love it. It makes me happy. And I need one more alt art.
All right,
Hit 'em up.
I'll go next. We'll just go alphabetical order. My card of the week's something that is that funny to you?
Yeah.
My card of the week's something that I didn't find this combo. Somebody showed it to me, and it's really cool. And I'm sure a lot of people know of this already. But it's in the Demon Lord deck. He was playing BT3 Mastemon. And okay, so Jacob knows exactly what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
So
I'm lost.
So the story is you have super cost reduction, basically play for free the new EX6 Lucemon Chaos Mode.
Yeah.
Get its on play if your opponent deletes one of their things or trashes security, you recover one. It's pretty good. Then you Evo for 4 into OG Mastemon, trash top security of both players' decks, play out EX6 Rookie Lucemon.
Wait, why?
We're getting there. Its end of turn is put the
Mastemon's when
Mastemon.
Digivolving.
Yeah, the Mastemon's when Digivolve
Oh,
is trash.
a rookie.
It's trash one from both player security. Play a level 4 or lower purple or yellow Digimon. So you play EX6 Lucemon.
Okay.
Then its end of turn triggers. You put the Mastemon into security and Evo the Lucemon into the Chaos Mode that was in its stack, and get this same effect a second time if they delete another thing or you get another recover and another
That's
trash.
pretty good.
So
Wait,
from
trash 3, recover 2?
yes, so it's either they trash 3, I recover 3 because I put the Mastemon in also, or I kill 2 bodies or 2 Tamers or something like that.
That's pretty good.
Something that apparently a lot of people know that I had no idea because I haven't touched the deck. But this was super cool and it got me good because I was playing Lugamon. My board state was a Luga in the Raising and an EG. And I wasn't going to let that go. So I'm like, well, here's 3 of my security.
And then suddenly our OTKs.
Yeah,
What
it's not looking
So much
good.
scarier.
What?
Mm.
This was in the Demon Lord deck?
Yeah, this
Yeah.
was in Demon Lords. So you play the Lucemon for like 1 or 0 because of all the cost reduction.
Yeah.
Evo for 4, pass the turn with a couple memory. And
But
that's
then
it.
recover
Yeah.
3.
Really cool. Really cool.
That's badass.
That is so.
So what is your card of the week?
Mine is Mastemon because that
Mastemon.
card is
OG
now
Mastemon.
climbing in price a little bit. So I'm going to whip out my alt arts here real soon.
Sheesh.
But that's just it's a good example of old cards working in unintended ways with new stuff that people probably didn't even look at that card and think of that. You know,
Yeah.
some people obviously did.
All right, Jacob.
So when BT11 came around, we got Mirai, and this card was like super cool. You know, being able to like have one Digimon that turns into your whole Mastemon combo is super cool. And I've always thought this is going to be like probably like the best tamer that we get. And when new Mirai originally got spoiled, I wasn't the biggest fan of it. I was like, I don't know exactly how this is going to benefit our gameplay. Now that I've gotten to play with it, this Mirai is awesome. It allows you to, like, especially if you're able to assemble both Mirais on the board, which you want to do, which was like with old Mirai, the multiplicative copies of Mirai weren't actually beneficial. It was like you're like spending 5 resources to like get an extra memory, start a turn. With this Mirai, you want to play multiple copies of, and especially you want to be able to get both of these on the board because it then allows you to go, okay, I have a board state of nothing. I'm going to play my Godamon for 5, gain 3 memory, Digivolve into one of my angels from trash. New old Mirai spits out the second copy, like the altar copy from my hand. DNA, swing 2 checks. And Hayes talked about a lot in his video, but like once you've assembled both the mass days, it allows you to have this like mid to late game plan of just being able to like chunk out hits out of nowhere and being able to answer the board really efficiently, which is just like super awesome. And like that was like one of like on Saturday when I played against SecCon, I was kind of worried at first because Mastemon has like historically had a really bad problem in the SecCon because you like your value plays aren't as beneficial. They're able to out your board state really easily. You kind of have to like come out of raising to do any big plays, and they could just like out recover and deck you out because you draw so much to be able to do all of your plays. With new Mastemon, that is not the case. Not only can I just use Mastemon and just like trash until they have 4 and then go 2 checks, they're at 2. But like with the new Mires, with the new Mirai, I'm able to just like create answers out of nowhere and present damage that they just can't can't keep up with. So my card makes new Mirai from EX6. That card's super cool.
Well, I'll keep mine brief since I've talked about it this entire podcast. Should be obvious. Look at him. Let's go, Mammoth.
Hey. Oh,
Anyway,
with the
in all
pre-release
his
stamp
glory.
too, Justin.
Oh, you got the whole
Okay.
dollar version?
This was 50. This was 50 cents. So I
Well
got
spent.
it like that. Skull Mammoth.
Huge.
It's Anubis Light. Contrary
We have
to
Anubis
a lot
at
of
home.
people's opinion about Nats, I really, really like the Nats format. It's really skill expressive. The mirror was really awesome. I really enjoyed the rogue decks that came and challenged Anubis for that spot, being like red hybrids. People were playing security control. People were playing Mirage still, and it's like, wow, what a sick format. It's like, okay, you have to beat Anubis, but at least the second or third best deck wasn't so polarizing, so that deck building got stifled so much because there's decent deck diversity. Guy topped with the Belphemon, Levia, Biting Crush engine. There's a lot of creativity in that. So at first when I got out of Nats, I was like, okay, I've played a lot of purple. So I kind of put the deck down, tried a lot of other stuff. And then I just got back on this engine because I think it's just so good. And it's like, what level 6 fits in this top end? Tried the Anubis loop. And then I was like, Herman, you're a genius. So I stole this, and this might be one of my best deck lists I've ever made in terms of like how tight it is and like how it answers the meta, like the meta field. Skull Mammoth is a funny card, randomly steals turns, and then you go 12 wide like Anubis.
So what you're
Skull
saying
Mammoth.
is you would rather play Anubis mirrors all day than play against Numemon a single time.
Yeah, 100%, 1,000%.
Not even
You
close.
can't let go.
Can't let go. Well, I'll let go when there's a better top tier matchup. So
Mhm.
there you have it.
All right.
All right.
Sounds like we're
Gentlemen, thank you so much, and thank you to the fans for watching.
Thanks for waiting for
If
a
you've
bit.
made it this far, give us a like, comment, and a subscribe, and we'll catch you all in the next one.